In the world of cinema and entertainment, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt are not only famous for their acting talent but also for their diverse and adorable family. These two Hollywood stars raised and cared for 6 children together, creating a beautiful and complex family. Maddox, the first son, is originally from Cambodia and went through significant hardships before meeting Angelina and Brad. Pax, the second child, is from Vietnam and has a passion for art and fashion. Zahara, Ethiopia's daughter, shines with her compassionate heart and love for her family. Their first child, Shiloh, has always confidently expressed herself and chosen her gender. Knox and Vivian, adorable twins, are exploring the world of music and fashion from their earliest years. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt may not be together anymore, but they are still the proud parents of 6 amazing children. Back in 2002, Jolie became a mother for the first time when she adopted Maddox Shivan, 22, from an orphanage in Cambodia. 3 years later, the family grew with the addition of 18-year-old Ethiopian-born Zahara Marley. Not long after, Pitt also adopted Jolie's first 2 children, and the couple decided to continue expanding their family. After giving birth to daughter Shiloh Nouvelle, 17, in 2006, Jolie and Pitt adopted son Pax Thien, 19, from Vietnam. Then in 2008, their family grew even bigger when they welcomed 15-year-old twins Knox Leone and Vivian Marceline. Jolie has said that having a large family and a multicultural education has had a positive impact on her children. They're pretty amazing people, and because there are so many of them, I think they've had a very significant influence on each other. I'm not on top of anything. I'm very honest with my kids. Me. And I'm very humane with my children, she added. I have 6 very distinct people in my house. I'm excited about all the different stages, emotions and curiosities they go through. Why don't you? We have to help them figure out who's who. Who are they? And you can't know who they are if you're not enthusiastic about growing with them. Pitt has also previously opened up about wanting his children to pursue their own interests. She added, I have 6 very distinct people in my house. I'm excited about all the different stages, emotions and curiosities they go through. Why don't you? We have to help them figure out who's who. Who are they? And you can't know who they are if you're not enthusiastic about growing with them. Pitt has also previously opened up about wanting his children to pursue their own interests. Here's everything you need to know about Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's children. Maddox Shivan Jolie Pitt, 22 years old. Jolie and Pitt's oldest child, Maddox Shivan Jolie Pitt, was born on August 5, 2001 in Battambang, Cambodia. After spending the first 7 months of his life in an orphanage, he was adopted by Jolie, who had previously fallen in love with the country while filming Lara Croft, Tomb Raider the year prior. Jolie visited only one orphanage and felt an instant connection with Maddox, explaining that when she saw him lying in a box suspended from the ceiling, she cried and cried. At the time of Maddox's adoption, Jolie was still married to Billy Bob Thornton, although she adopted the little boy on her own. Several months after returning home with Maddox, Jolie and Thornton called it quits, and she began to raise the little boy as a single parent. In 2005, Jolie started dating Pitt, and by the end of that year, Pitt had begun the process to also adopt Maddox. By the time he was 6, Jolie shared that Maddox was growing up into a little intelligent man, adding that he was so smart and so witty. She even called the little boy her best buddy and the coolest little person she'd ever met. As Maddox grew older, he became increasingly interested in both Jolie's humanitarian work and her work as a filmmaker. At age 15, he worked as an executive producer on Jolie's film First They Killed My Father, the film adaptation of her friend Long Ung's book about the Cambodian genocide by the Khmer Rouge regime. Jolie later explained that she, in part, took on the film because she hoped Maddox would learn about who he is and become that much more connected to his country. He regularly travels to Cambodia and spent more than 4 months there, diligently researching, experiencing and gaining a deeper understanding of the culture and country, including its difficult and challenging aspects. In 2019, Maddox enrolled in South Korea's Yonsei University, which Jolie said she could not be happier about. While he was forced to take classes remotely during the pandemic, he was eventually able to return to campus where he is studying biochemistry and working on learning the Korean language. Jolie shared, I am very proud of Maddox's growth. Maddox has become a good and intelligent man. Although he is somewhat wild, he has shown incredible balance during his childhood. Period of his youth. In April 2023, Jolie and Maddox attended a state dinner at the White House, where President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden hosted South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol and First Lady Kim Kyeon-hee. A source close to the actress told People, the relationship between Angelina's family and the Asia-America region is very important. She and her children have established a special relationship with this region, including Korea, over the years. Angelina has regularly visited Korea to participate in humanitarian activities and refugee programs over the past 2 decades. She and Maddox are both very proud and honored to attend important events in the country. This country. Zahara Marley Jolie Pitt, 18 years old. Zahara Marley Jolie Pitt was born on January 8, 2005 in Hawassa, Ethiopia, and was adopted by Jolie when she was 7 months old. Jolie initially visited Zahara's orphanage with Maddox after he became interested in traveling to Africa. When he met the girl, Maddox realized that she needed to be taken care of. Children understand sadness, poverty, and hunger. When they later returned to make the adoption official, Jolie was also joined by Pitt. In July, they returned home, where Zahara was treated for a salmonella infection at a New York City hospital and made a full recovery, ready to begin life with her family. Mad loves her. When Z came home she was older, she was 7 months old, so for Mad it's like having this tiny pet he can just hold and look at. He's great, Jolie said at the time. Since then, Zahara has gotten the opportunity to travel around the world with her family, visiting her home country of Ethiopia for a special trip in 2019. During the visit, Jolie and Zahara met with the country's first female president, Sahle Work Zewde, where they discussed Ethiopian culture and history as well as issues like education and treating drug-resistant tuberculosis. That same year, Zahara also launched her Zahara Collection jewelry line in collaboration with jeweler Robert Prokop. All proceeds from the collection benefited House of Ruth Shelters, a Los Angeles-based organization which provides transitional housing for battered women and children. In 2020, Jolie revealed that Zahara had undergone several surgeries, although she did not specify the reasoning. The teen was able to recover at home during the pandemic, when her schooling transitioned online. During that time, Jolie opened up about raising the now 17-year-old, praising her as an extraordinary African woman. My daughter is from Ethiopia, one of my children, and I have learned so much from her. She is my family, but she is an extraordinary African woman, and her connection to her country, her continent, is her own, and it's something I only stand back in awe of, Jolie shared. In July 2022, Jolie announced on Instagram that Zahara is planning on attending Spelman College in the fall. Zahara with her Spelman sisters. Jolie captioned a photo of Zahara smiling with her classmates. Congratulations to all new students starting this year. A very special place and an honor to have a family member as a new Spelman girl. Pitt also celebrated Zahara's achievement while speaking with people at the Bullet Train premiere in LA. Yeah, that's beautiful, the actor said, appearing to get emotional. Really beautiful. In August 2022, Jolie dropped Zahara off at Spelman College. The mother and daughter met with school president Dr. Helena Gale and vice president for student affairs Daryl Holloman, who shared a photo and video from the event on Instagram. When asked how she felt about being a Spelman mom, Jolie replied, "I'm gonna start crying. I have not started crying yet." In addition to starting college, the teen has been busy helping with her mother's humanitarian efforts. In February 2023, Jolie and Zahara traveled to Washington, D.C. to meet with lawmakers to advocate for the passage of the Justice for All Reauthorization Act of 2022, which aims to protect crime victims by creating a victim's right to evidence and agency reports, improve forensic science, end the rape kit backlog, and address racial disparities in wrongful convictions. In photos from the visit, Jolie and Zahara can be seen meeting with Patrick Leahy, one of the bill's sponsors, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. A few months later, the mother-daughter duo took another trip together, this time to New York City. Jolie and Zahara were spotted walking hand-in-hand through John F. Kennedy International Airport. Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie Pitt, 17 years old. In 2006, Jolie and Pitt announced they were expecting a baby. Their daughter Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie Pitt was born on May 27 at Cottage Hospital in Swakopmund, Namibia, where the family had spent the past few months. Shiloh immediately fit in with her family, and 1 year after her birth, Jolie said the little girl was reminding her a lot of herself. "She's so full of light and love, she's just a little honey, and very, very funny. I think I'm recognizing some of myself in that one. She's going to be a little bit of trouble," she shared. Jolie has said that growing up, Shiloh thought she was one of the brothers, and the family has always supported her fashion choices. The actress told Reuters in 2010, "I think she is fascinating, the choices she is making. And I would never be the kind of parent to force somebody to be something they are not. I think that is just bad parenting. Children should be allowed to express themselves in whatever way they wish without anybody judging them, because it is an important part of their growth. Society always has something to learn when it comes to the way we judge each other, label each other. We have far to go." As Shiloh has gotten older, she's become increasingly involved in her mother's humanitarian efforts. At just 9 years old, she requested to join her mother on a trip where they traveled to the Middle East for World Refugee Day, and they have now traveled all across the globe together. Since then, Shiloh has also accompanied Jolie on numerous red carpets, including several humanitarian events. As the duo share an especially tight-knit relationship, she even encouraged Jolie to take on her role in The One and Only Ivan. Now at 16, Shiloh spends much of her spare time dancing, practicing at Millennium Dance Complex, an elite dance studio in LA. While she hasn't spoken out about her passion for dance, she has been featured in several videos shared by the studio. Shiloh also seems to be interested in theater, as the teen and Jolie met with Paul Mescal in London in February 2023. Mescal stars as Stanley in the A Streetcar Named Desire play at the Almeida Theater, and the trio were reportedly sitting in the theater's cafe after the show. Paxthene Jolie Pitt. 19 years old Paxthene Jolie Pitt was born on November 29, 2003, in Vietnam, where he spent the first few years of his life in an orphanage outside of Ho Chi Minh City. He was adopted by Jolie in 2007 at age 3 when she traveled to the country with Maddox. At the time, Jolie adopted the little boy solo, as Vietnamese law makes it difficult for unmarried couples to adopt, but he was formally adopted by Pitt in 2008. Shortly after bringing Pax home, Jolie shared that the little boy was spending time getting accustomed to his surroundings and enjoying his new sense of freedom, calling him a tough, remarkable little person. Jolie shared, "He spent 3.5 years of his life in one place, in one room, in this one little iron bed with 20 other kids, and having no choice for himself to do things, having no freedom. And suddenly, here he is in a very free situation with new brothers and sisters and a mom and dad. He's learning English and he's so loving and he's wild and free 'cause he suddenly has freedom, so he's a little wild and crazy." In the years following his adoption, Jolie shared that Pax formed a close bond with Maddox and was enjoying life with his big family. In 2011, the group returned to Vietnam to explore Pax's home country ahead of his 8th birthday. While Pax keeps much of his personal life out of the spotlight, he did make a small appearance in Jolie's 2016 film Kung Fu Panda 3, voicing the character Yu. He also assisted Jolie and Maddox on First They Killed My Father, where he served as a set photographer. In August 2022, Jolie opened up to people about working with both Pax and Maddox on Without Blood, an upcoming film she directed. The two young men worked on the Italian set in the assistant director department, which serves as a liaison between the film's director and other departments. "We work well together," Jolie said of her boys. "When a film crew is at its best, it feels like a big family, so it felt natural." Knox Leone Jolie Pitt, 15 years old in 2008, Jolie and Pitt revealed they were expecting when Jolie stepped out at the Independent Spirit Awards with a baby bump. On July 12, Jolie gave birth to twins Knox Leone and Vivienne Marceline Jolie Pitt in Nice, France. Knox arrived minutes before his sister, weighing in at 5.3 pounds. It was later revealed that the little boy was named after Pitt's grandfather, Hal Knox Hillhouse. Upon returning home, the couple described their household as chaos, but noted their older children were on hand to help with the new additions to the family. Jolie told People that Shiloh and Zahara were enjoying picking out the twins' clothing and often helped change and hold them. As a toddler, Jolie noted that Knox was a lot like Brad, both emotionally and physically. Knox has grown up primarily outside of the spotlight, although he did voice the character of Cuckoo in Kung Fu Panda 3. And in 2019, Knox and his siblings were spotted showing off their entrepreneurial skills while selling homemade organic dog treats at a park in LA. Vivienne Marceline Jolie Pitt, 15 years old. Knox's fraternal twin Vivienne Marceline was born just a minute after her brother on July 12, 2008, weighing in at exactly 5 pounds. She was named after Jolie's grandmother, with whom she shares the same first name. As newborns, Vivienne and Knox made their public debut with their parents on the cover of People in August 2008. While Vivienne has primarily grown up outside of the public eye like her brother Knox, she has already made her on-screen debut. In 2014, she appeared in Maleficent while portraying the younger version of Elle Fanning's character Aurora. Jolie explained that the duo practiced her scene at home, and she was pretty impressed. "When we did it together, we had a good time. I was actually shocked that she was doing so well. She went back and hit her mark. It's frightening," Jolie said during a Disney roundtable. In August 2023, Jolie announced that she's bringing an adaptation of S.E. Hinton's novel and Francis Ford Coppola's 1983 film, The Outsiders, to Broadway. People then confirmed that Vivienne will serve as her mother's volunteer assistant on the project. "Viv reminds me of my mother in that she isn't focused on being the center of attention but in being a support to other creatives," Jolie said in a statement. "She's very thoughtful and serious about theater and working hard to best understand how to contribute. When she's not lending a hand on Broadway, Vivienne is focused on school and raising her pet bunnies."